Hi there. A few clients have contacted me and asking me how to help them cut their hair at home. Obviously, they're going to enlist wives, partners, girlfriends, and everything to try and help them. So I thought I'd go through a few very simple techniques to do a really simple haircut, which should just tie people over, hopefully, till we're back open again soon. Okay, so first of all, I'll show you what I've managed to find. I've run around the house, so I borrowed a few things from my daughter, and my wife's going to get involved. You'll see her in a minute. So I've got my daughter's mirror from her bedroom. I've got a few hairdressing scissors. These are an old pair that aren't too sharp, so hopefully Jo won't cut herself too badly. A couple of basic scissors, some hairdressing combs, a set of clippers, old clippers I've got at home, 1 to 4. I've obviously got a water spray, and I've got an old gown there. So first of all, what I thought I'd do is, if no one trusts anyone else to cut their hair because they're worried about scissors, I'm going to show you how I would do my sideburns. Now, I've had my hair cut the other day, so my sideburns aren't too long, but hopefully you'll see the shape that we can achieve. So what I'm going to do is I've made my hair just a little bit wet, and you can see there's a little bit of a kind of raggedy line there. So if I comb that all forward and then just gently following the shape all the way around there, carefully, try not to stab myself, and then push it backwards. Now you can pull the ear down if you want to, and the trick with all hairdressing, especially home hairdressing, is don't try and go mad. Don't try and take too much off at a time. Try and take a small amount off, and then you can always take more off. Obviously, some of you may notice I've grown a beard. This is my coronavirus beard, and I think I'm going to keep it until the end of lockdown. And be very careful when going around the ears. And you can see immediately from that side, which is still uncut, to this side, just a lot tidier. And that's just by bringing it forward, following the hairline shape, bringing it back, and just trimming around the ear. I've not done anything behind there. As you can see, there's still some long bits there. Okay, right. Okay, so we've just tidied around the sideburns just a minute ago. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do just a basic kind of clipper cut just to tidy these sides. As I said, Jo cut my hair a couple of weeks ago, so mine's not actually that long, but hopefully it'll be easy for you to see. So what we're going to do is, I've made my hair fairly wet. I've not made it too wet. The thing about clippers, if your hair is absolutely soaking wet, clippers don't cut that well. So you almost want it not quite dry, because you want to be able to brush it out of the way, but you just damp really is the ideal thing. And lots of people cut hair differently with clippers. What I would always suggest doing is starting with the longest one, the 4, and then work your way down to a 2 or a 1. The 1's very short. You have to be quite brave, maybe get a bit of practice in before you do that. Okay, so number 4 on, make sure it's clipped on as well. That's the other thing. If that's not clipped on, that'll fly off. So always make sure firmly attached. They normally got a little click sound to that. Okay, so when going in with the clippers, the ideal thing is you always start at the bottom and work your way up, and never really go past the halfway mark on the head. And the other thing with clippers is, if you do it in a jerky movement, you're always going to end up with a straight line. So the ideal thing is you want to keep the clippers moving and scooping out at all times. Okay, so we put the number 4 on. I'm not sure how much will come off, but we'll do that one to start with. Okay, so combing the hair down and remembering to always scoop outwards. That's it. What you can do, if you're the person having the haircut, if you hold your ear down slightly, and it just helps. Remembering not to go too high. Excellent. Okay, so quite a bit is coming off there actually, seeing as we only done, I don't know, I thought we went down to a 3 last week. Okay, so as we're coming around to the back there, what you've got to remember is you don't want to go all the way around, otherwise you look a little bit like a Peaky Blinder. So you've got to follow the shape of the head. Most people have a bit of a protruding occipital bone there. You just want to angle it down. So imagine that panel all the way around. That's what we want to take off with the number 4. As always, don't be afraid to put a little bit of pressure. That's it, but little bits at a time. You can always come back. And the good thing is, at this moment in time, we've all got loads of time, so there's no point in rushing a haircut through. Okay, pause for it. Sorry, so come around the other side. Once again, number 4. Holding the ear down again. That's it, always bringing the clippers out, because then that'll actually help you to sort of partially taper in. Okay, so we've done the number 4, we'll take the 4 off. Always remember, you're always going to have a load of hair on there. Try if you can to keep that as clean as possible. The clippers will just work a little bit better. So 3, remember, clip, that nice little sound. And then we're going to go in with the 3. We'll maybe not go quite as high, because if you imagine we're just trying to taper the edges. So starting low, going in, and just a little bit lower than the last time. And you should possibly see a little bit of a line there from what we've done last time. So there's a little bit of a weight line there. So we're definitely not going as high as that, and we're just flicking these edges in. Okay, so just a number 3 on this side again. Holding down the ear always helps people if you get that out of the way. Right, if you carry on filming, so there is some people, they can't fold their ears down like that. Okay, so some people's ears are straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, you've just got to remember is that is the scooping movement you want to make. But if someone can't hold their ear down, what you're going to have to do is go around the back of the ear. But if you can see, the clippers are angled outwards at all times. So the only bit in contact is the closest bit to this behind the ear there. So I'm just going to go around the edges there. Now I'm holding my ear down so you can see it, but if you couldn't bend someone's ear forward, then you just gently, it's tricky doing this, I can't see what I'm doing, just going around like that, and then around the front, remembering clippers at that angle, if you can see that angle. So we're just going to literally just go around like that. Remember, little bits at a time. You can always come back, and you can always take a bit more off at a later stage. Okay, once again, just clean the clippers off. Down to a number 2 now, just on the edges. I don't think we'll probably go down much shorter on my hair. I'd probably recommend that probably most people don't go any shorter than a number 2 unless you're really feeling quite confident. So maybe after a little bit of practice. Do you want to start around that side actually? Because it's pretty. And obviously with this, we're only really doing the edges. We're going literally just flicking in probably about 1 centimetre, no further than that. And it just creates a little bit of a taper. So we've stepped it from a 4, a 3, and down to a 2. And you will find that starts to look quite neat. I'll just spin, make it easier for you. That's fine, right? Okay, so we've gone around with the 2. We just want to tidy up all the kind of neck hair now. Now, this is probably one of those areas that a lot of people have neck hair. The one thing you've got to be careful of is try not to go anywhere near the actual hairline. So we're only looking at removing all of this. So most clippers have got an adjustment on them. So that is what they call a 0. That takes it to a 1/2. So we're going to start with a 1/2, and then we're going to literally just be blending down backwards without going into the hairline. That's fine. Now you take it down to a 0 and just do that side. Okay, so down, nice and tight with 0. You can always check to make sure they're not going to cut. Some of them are set up a little bit differently. I can always help people with that if they need them adjusting. You can always test on the back of your hands. But just going to go in. So basically, that's it. Just taking all of that fluff away. Perfect. Okay, so we've gone around the sides, tidied all that up. You can just leave it like that, and if you were to apply product, it's not too bad. That would fall down. There would be a bit of a line there, but product would brush it back. What I'm going to do is just take you through some basic sections going through the top to try and blend that all the way into the sides. So what we've done is just taken a section, and the trick is to always try and work at right angles. So we're going to take the section straight up, and then we'll try a multitude of our scissors and see which one's going to work best. I hold all 3 of them. Try the big babies, just mind your fingers as you do this.
Do I?
No, just go straight across to start. Right, so they're not brilliant, so we'll try another pair. This is the hardest thing, trying to find some good scissors.
They're better.
Brilliant. So little snips at a time. Brilliant. Okay, and then take another section just in front. Did you have a comb in your pocket then? I like that. It's like a right hairdresser. Now, if you take a small section, and also include the section you've just cut, so that little bit there, if you bring all that up, it is tricky. It just takes a lot of practice, this, and then take it all the way up. You may see all the way up. Can you see the line that you'd cut before?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to use them? Let's look down a bit. That's it. And then effectively what you're trying to do is work your way forward. So we're only taking, what are we taking, about ½ centimetre, something like that, just all the way down. So bring all your sections forward, but just remember to always try and work at 90-degree angles to the scalp. And then when you come to the front, what you can do is you can drag the front back a little bit more so you don't take too much off the fringe. But we'll come back to you in a minute on that. Right, so we come to the front. Joe's pulled the front up. What we'll do is we're angling that back really slightly just to keep a bit of length in the fringe. And we've gone on for the old hairdressing scissors, which are incredibly blunt as well. But we're getting there. Okay, so that's that top section. So what we want to do is work as that as one section, and then we're going to work on the sides, and then we're going to work on the blend. Okay, then, so we've done the middle section, and what we've done is we've taken a parting, and we've included some of the middle section we've just cut into the side section. And when we bring that up, we should find that we can start from the shortest point there. And actually it is tricky holding everything in your hands. So I'm holding the scissors, but you can just see there, there's the shorter bit there is the bit that we've just cut. And we're working at a 90-degree angle to the scalp. So that little triangle is going to be cut off there. And then take a section a little bit more forward, including some of the section we've just cut, and then slightly work on our way more and more forward. And there's a bigger bit there that's going to come off, as you can see. Fantastic, and we'll work our way forward. We'll do that on both sides, and then we'll come back to you on the final bit. So just as we're coming forward to the front bit, I tend to like to keep my fringe a little bit longer. So Joe's just angling her fingers up, so she's not at a 90-degree angle she was at the back. She's just bringing her hands up a little bit more. So we're just taking a little bit less off, but that will eventually fall down. Fab. Okay, so just to keep it even on both sides, exactly the same. There's all I always call them triangles, but it's the longer bit in the middle is the bit that's going to go. That's the short bit that we cut on the first section, and this is the bit we're blending into. A little bit more tricky. Everyone finds one side easier than the other, so it just depends whether you're right-handed, left-handed, how you feel. And then just as we're coming towards the front, Joe will just angle, that's it, just up a little bit higher. Once again, just because I like to keep that little bit hanging forward. Right then, so what we're going to do is we're just going to try and just double check all of our sections now. So we're just going to, that's fine. Just little sections all over. They don't have to be perfectly in line, but you'll find if there's any slightly longer bits, you can trim them off. That's all looking all right to me, but if there's any slightly longer bits, just trim them off. Just that little corner there. Fantastic. So just double check that all over. You can check it that way, and if you want to stand on the side, then you can check it that way. And what you tend to find is that the hair is normally a bit longer at the front, or it is on my kind of style. So it's longer at the front and then it's angled backwards. Okay. Okay, so we've done our top section now, we've double checked it, gone through the sides. We're just going to do the back section. It's exactly the same, so it's the extension of this bit. So we're just going to section it down this side. If you come to the side, that's brilliant. And then just check if there's there's that. Just once again, just working it 90 degrees to the scalp. And then slowly, if that's your first section, then what you start doing is you work a little bit that way, and then you'll meet that side, and then a little bit that way, and meet that side. And what you've got to remember, when you're working on the back's got to be a little bit more fluid. So if you've left it longer at the front, that's fine. But at the back, you just want it just nice and even, and just imagine the shape of the scalp. You're just trying to follow the shape of the scalp. Okay, so we've done all of the top sections now. We're just going to work on the side. And this is one of the hardest bits because we've got to blend this into this. There's a little bit of a weight line there you can probably see. So we're going to try and release that. Joe will just take a section, and what we're trying to do is to join this bit we've already cut with this bit down here. And then slowly working your way to the back of the sides, and then working your way all around the back. Okay, just going to come around the other side. Everyone has one side that's easier than the others. Obviously, I think this is possibly slightly easier for Jo because she's right-handed. But just taking those little long bits off. And like I said before in the video, the ideal thing is to take a little bit off at a time. Just take the time. You can always go through it time and time again, sort of thing. How many times did I say time then? What I should have said as well, at this stage of the haircut, it's probably a bit better if the hair's wetter. Scissors tend to cut wet hair a little bit easier than dry. And just working your way back to the centre of the back. Okay, so we come to the end of that. We've blended it all through. For someone who's not a hairdresser, I think she's done a pretty good job. Just to go over things, when you're doing the clippers, don't make the hair too wet. Clippers don't work very well on wet hair. Make your hair wetter when you're starting to use the scissors and the comb. Try and comb all of the bits you don't want out of the way, so you just work on one little section at a time. And worst case scenario, it'll grow out and we'll be back to the salon as soon as possible. Hopefully that helps. Any problems, send us a message and I'll see if I can get back to you. Thanks.